Hi, everyone. My name is Callie Goode, and this is the Differently in Motion podcast. I'm joined by my wonderful new friend, Davina Patterson, and her incredible employees. And they came on today to speak about their stories and what they do to impact the disability world. Hi, Davina. Nice to have you all here.
Hey, Callie, thank you so much for having us. And we're so excited and very pleased with the work that you're doing in the disability community and how you are representing for people with disabilities.
Well, I appreciate the good vibes there. I'm working very hard to make a difference in my own way. So I appreciate the good vibes. So tell us a little bit about who we have joining us today.
All right, so we have two of our peer advocates from Disability Resource Network, Deshaun Washington and Katie Turo. They joined our organization in 2020 and they've been with us ever since. Awesome staff members, people from the disability world that are advocates and are warriors. So I will let them speak a little bit more about themselves. And I'm so glad that they are here to share their story and to talk about what they do with Disability Resource Network.
All right, great. Katie, would you like to start us off?
Sure. I'm Katie. I've been with Disability Resource Network since September of 2020. And I am a peer advocate. And what that is I advocate for others with disabilities to teach them everything that I've done pretty much my whole life on my own, as far as advocating for myself individually, systematically, learning how to live on my own when I hit my adult ages, um, and teaching people the hope that they can do it too, because with independent living, we our model is not the medical model but the peer-to-peer model. And what that is we teach people that you're the age of an adult, you want to be an adult, we're going to help you get to where you need to be in life to be able to succeed. So for me, before I started at Disability Resource Network, I was in my own little hole of trying to figure out, why were things so hard? Why am I having to push so hard to advocate for myself and, get things in order in my own life? And I was wondering why all these struggles were happening. And then Davina just one day calls me out of the blue, and I was like, this is why I'm having this big struggle, because I have always felt that my calling is to help others in my situation. Because yeah, like you and I were talking before we got on air, I'm not a cookie, cutter case. I don't fit in the right holes with the puzzle pieces of the medical model. I am very outspoken. I see things as they are. And so when Davina called me, I was like, this is my calling. This is my calling to help others in my situation who don't have, well, we'll say that boldness to stand up for themselves and teach them that they can have that boldness, to succeed in life and get where they want to be in life. Because, just because we have disabilities doesn't mean we don't have the potential to do that. So
That's absolutely beautiful, Katie. And like I told you off air, I think you and I are kindred spirits in that way, because we're not willing to take no for an answer. And we're here to redefine what disability is. And that's why I'm doing this podcast. That's why I'm putting so much content out online, because I realize that the disability world is not my only calling, but it's part of my calling. So I have to step more into that leadership space of helping other people see disability different, whether they're disabled or not. So,
Right. Helping people see themselves, not their disability. And for me, that was a big thing for me growing up and throughout my life, was to see myself and not me, my disability, be who I am. It
exactly.
was finding out who I was internally. And that's what I try to do when I work with people on a daily basis. I have some, yeah, the calls I get every day is um, people who are in despair, who are at their last, have called everywhere and they don't know where to go next. And I'm like, we're going to do this. We're going to do this together. I'm not going to let you go ever. I'm like, and I tell him, I'm like, you will always have my email address and my office number. And if you ever need my assistance, I'm here. And to give people that encouragement to, and then watch as things change for them is unbelievable. And that has always been my goal when I first, before when I first got hired. As soon as Davina called me and told me I got hired, that has always been my goal, is to make sure that they see the light at the end of the tunnel and not give up, because it is so easy to give up.
I agree, but I believe that God put us here as warriors, and we all have a place and calling to be able to step into our unique perspective and unique role and make a true difference. So I appreciate you, Katie. So let's hear from Deshaun about himself and what inspires him to be part of this incredible network. Hi, Deshaun.
Okay. Yeah, I'm a peer advocate also, and I joined the company, was it July of 2020, and you know I graduated college in 2018, and I was trying to figure out where I'm going to work and the opportunities, and everything was moving pretty slow, and I happened to get a phone call for one of the coworkers that at the school I used to go to, and she said, "I think I know this lady that is interested in you. Maybe if want a job." And Davina had told me about a part-time position, and I told her I accepted. And then 2 days later, she told me she had a full-time position, in which I went ahead and accepted that. And I think from that point on, it just it made me like understand, it's like, okay, so there is a lot of people that's in a situation like me that also like to try to help other people, disabled people, to motivate each other and trying to live life normal as they can. And that was just always a good point for me, because I always like to do positive things, and I'm always like to go out. So like I never like being stuck at home. So for me, it was a good, thing for me to try to, introduce myself to people out, go to school, drive. So I try to do everything that I can do, that I know that I can handle, to try to motivate myself and also motivate people, that's disabled or, just have difficulties doing normal things. So that's how I always try to look at things like that.
That's amazing. I think you're a great representation of what disability, as we were talking about before, redefining disability. And obviously Davina has been a big part of both of your transformation. And obviously she is a disruptor in the disability world, who's willing to take unique situations and see the beauty in them. So I really admire each of you for that as well.
Yeah, you just got to keep going, because I know sometimes it gets hard, but the moment that you give up, sometimes it's going to be even harder. So that's why you always, at least if it's hard, you just try to keep going as long as you can.
Yeah,
get
exactly.
yourself through it.
Yeah. So Davina, tell us a little bit about how your personal philosophy behind disability makes helps you stand out with, obviously you have a unique way of connecting with people like Katie and Deshawn and seeing their unique beauties within themselves, and truly how having a situation or a system in place to really help them empower themselves to become greater.
Well, I just see their core. When we were trying to find staff members for this new center, I was informed that they had to be people with disabilities, and I handpicked both of these individuals because I saw something in them that, as a new center, we needed to set the tone, to set the culture for our region and for our center. And so both individuals are ambassadors. They're very resilient. When I interviewed them, they said a lot of key things that helped me to know that, that they are very prompt, professional, and they are champions. Some of the obstacles they've overcame, they shared their stories with me, and I hope, we have enough time for them to share them with you and your audience as well. But some of the things that they've overcome and they've been able to achieve, it just really touched me in a way to where I had to bring them on staff. And I was very committed to having them to join our team and help build this center in our region, because we are a new center. These are both people are our new and only staff members. We didn't have any other staff here. We help train each other. We support each other, and we're there for each other when we need each other. So I saw their core. I really saw who they were. I was very pleased with what I saw, and I thought that they were quality individuals that would make a difference in the community and bring excellence to our center. And I know I made the right decision.
That's amazing. I love to hear all of that positivity from such a unique organization. And I think you guys just collectively make your center probably stand out just because of the unique perspectives that you hold against some maybe other centers that have, have other strings. So I really applaud all of you for that. So speaking to Davina and speaking to how well she knows both of your stories, tell us a little bit, Katie, about your specific story, because I'm just curious.
What do you want to know? Well, I wasn't raised in, well, I was the end of my raising, I moved to Alabama. So I'm a transplant, but I've been living in Alabama longer than I actually grew up in Florida. As a teenager in Florida, I helped teach sailing lessons to people with disabilities. And then, but throughout my life, I was actually put in um, special education classes just because I was in a wheelchair. So I had to fight since I was young to get where I needed to be in life. By like middle school is when I was able to fight fully to get out of special education into regular classes and be able to stay in regular classes throughout the rest of my school years. I So that was a huge fight for me. And then when I got to college, learning the system totally all over again as an adult is totally different than it is when you're a child. I learned that real quick when I got to college. Um, so I had to relearn everything when I got to college. I finished college um, up to half of my master's complete. And then, I started having health issues and had to stop that. But in that, I did finish my undergrad totally, and I got my associates in pre-law law, bachelor's in behavioral science, and then half of my master's in clinical mental health counseling. And a lot of that for me was, I originally was like, because people said I couldn't, so instead of doing what people said I couldn't do, I did it anyways. So I always had, throughout my life, and I get a lot of calls like that of people saying, well, such and such said I can't. I'm like, well, do you think you can? Do you think you can? Because I know that mindset, because I've always been told that, you can't do this. Well, yes, I can. Watch me do it. That's always been my personal mindset, is watch me do it, because I'm going to do it whether you want me to or not. And, you know, so that I got through college, and then I didn't work for several years trying to get, things situated in my own life. And, so I'm, this is one of my very first jobs, and it's been actually fun being one of my very first jobs. But for me, I've always been an independent person. Even when I was a small child, I was always taking care of, I was always helping with my siblings because they were disabled also. Um, and also, taking care of my own things. So I was very independent, even as a small child, and throughout my throughout my life. Um, and I've lived on my own since I was 19 years old. So, I've always had that desire to just be what what they call a normal human being. But I mean, we're all normal in a way, but that's what they call it. Um, but then I was like, I want to see other people in my situation see that they can do it too. So I've always been one to try to lead by example, and just keep it quiet and then have them ask me questions. But now that I'm working in it, I realize that I have to put that, not only lead by examples, but also help them through it. So um for me, it's been an experience, because for me personally, I've always been an independent person. Sorry, I tried to keep her out. And I've always been an independent person. So um having to teach others that they can too, because there's been times in my life where I wanted to give up too. I'm sorry, guys.
No, no, that's perfectly fine.
And
She obviously wants to be on the podcast, so.
And I also have fur children that I take care of. I take care of myself and two little kitties. But that's my life. I drive, I go shopping on my own, I live on my own. Since I was 19, I take care of my animals myself. I go to the doctor myself, and I advocate for myself with these doctors. They can be so hard to advocate with. And so it's like, so I do it for myself, and I do it for others. When I have to do it for myself, it empowers me to be a stronger person, for myself and others. you know y'all were talking about earlier, and I got to thinking. I was like, things that have tried to break me in life have only made me stronger in life. Like, each thing that I've been through has gotten me stronger. So I'm not sure what all you want me to share. um I'm more better at questions.
I appreciate you sharing that. That's a beautiful story, and it hits me in the heart because a lot of what you went through, I went through in a different sort of way. But so we have a lot to relate to. So, Deshaun, tell us a little bit about your story and your journey with your disability.
I was originally born in Leominster, Massachusetts, and moved down here to Huntsville when I was 4 years old, and been down here pretty much half of my life. And I was just a normal kid, going to school, just being a normal kid. And when I became 12 years old, I saw, myself always, falling down or just, something. It was just like, just wasn't normal. So went to a doctor, and that's when I was 12 years old, and I found out I was diagnosed with muscular dystrophy. And, when I first heard that, I was, kind of upset because I really didn't know what that disease really meant at that time. And then after doing research and meeting everybody else that had the same disability, I kind of read up on it. And from that point on, that kind of motivated me. And then I got into a wheelchair when I was 16. And, I was kind of bummed about that too, because I always think it's like, what are the kids going to say at school, when they see me in a wheelchair, are they going to ask all these, questions that I wasn't really able to answer myself. So I know I wasn't really going to be able to answer their questions for them. So, that kind of got me like in a bad state for a while. But then talking, to people around me, family and stuff, they're like, just because, the situation you're in don't mean that you got to be miserable and not do things that everybody else can. And from that point on, that's the motivation I have to myself and others, is just because of the situation, you just got to make the best out of it for you, because you got to enjoy your life. Because if you can't enjoy your life, it's not going to be an easy life for you to maintain. And so from that point on, that made it positive for everything I do. Then I didn't know if I was going to be able to go to college or not. Went to college. Didn't know if I was going to be able to graduate. I graduated. Didn't know I was going to drive. I'm driving now. So it's like all the stuff in my life. At first, I thought I wasn't going to be able to do it. And then I put on my big boy pants and I did it and I accomplished it. So it's like everything I try to do now is, if it's not possible at first, I go ahead and try to dig deep inside and try to get it done. And at the end, once I complete it, I go on to the next task. So that's how I was able, pretty much everything in my life now, that's how I've been able to look at it. And that's been keeping me going.
That's amazing. One thing that I learned in what I call my recovery journey, is that just because someone says you can't doesn't mean that their word is gospel. Even if it's someone in a position of authority or power, we all have different ways of doing things, and I think that's one thing that my own journey has taught me. So I very much resonate with that. So thank you, Deshaun. So is there anything else that anyone would like to share about themselves or about the organization that you work for or anything like that?
No, I would say everything's like a family, and they try to kick me out of my comfort zone a little bit, because I'm a little shy now and then, so they be trying to kick me under the butt to keep me opening up. So
That's great. Well, that's exactly why I'm doing this podcast, because I refuse to hide in the shadows. That's why I do TikTok
Mhm.
content and all kinds of other things. So I appreciate that. And I hope I can inspire all three of you as well.
Yeah, Davina hired two complete opposites. I'm like, hey, how's it going? And he's like, I've learned when to.
Yeah. Well, I think very often in the disability community, and I'm sure both of you and even Davina can relate to this, but it's very hard to push ourselves out there even when we don't want to, like, and like everything else, it's a muscle that you have to build. So at first I was super shy and reserved, and it's taken me a long time and a lot of recovery and a lot of counseling to get me to the point where I'm like, I don't really care, like, here we go, this is how God created me and I'm just gonna go with it. So, and I'm sure both of you can relate on some level to that. And so I'm just so thrilled to have met all three of you today, and I hope we can do this again soon.
Absolutely. We thank you for doing this, for providing this platform, and we're so honored to be a guest on your platform, on your podcast, and anything that we can do to spread the word or support what you're doing, we're here to do that.
All right, Davina. Well, are there any last words about your organization? I'll make sure to put the links down below in the description for everyone to check you guys out further.
We're here to serve the North Alabama community, Huntsville and the surrounding counties, 13 counties. We're taking appointments and referrals. We're having virtual programs. We invite anyone to come out and to join us and engage with us. And we're just trying to build on what we have.
That's
And
great.
thank you.
And perhaps we can collaborate and do something, some more things together in the future. I would love that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Any last words from Katie or Deshaun?
No, I'm just glad that you gave us an opportunity to come talk.
Well, I'm glad. Whoops. I'm glad for the opportunity as well. Something happened in my mouth. Sorry about that. Yeah, thank you so much for joining us, Deshaun. Any last words from you, Katie?
I was shy once, all through school until college when I had to start talking for advocating for myself.
Yeah.
So I was shy once.
I totally understand you. Well, with that,
no, if anybody ever needs help with any resources or guidance within or just support from Deshaun, Davina, or I, you're not in this alone. So if you ever need any support, give us a call.
well, I really appreciate all three of you coming on, and that just who you are as individuals and collectively, and I really appreciate your time. Well, until next time, everyone, I hope you have a great day, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.